Is this happening to you? Then you're in the right place for video game training. In this video, we're going to take a look at how to defeat Messmer on Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree. Okay, so let's jump into the fight. What I'll do is show you the fight first, and then afterwards I'll show you the gear that we used and my character's stats. We'll be doing this solo using no summons. First, what we'll do is use Bestial Vitality and Flame Grant Me Strength. Bestial Vitality will give us HP regen, and Flame Grant Me Strength will increase our physical attack. We also use Seppuku to increase our physical attack some more. We head on through the Fog Gate, and we get a couple of shots in with the Serpent Bow and Serpent Arrows. He starts the fight off with a Leaping Fireball. You'll see this attack start up as he floats up into the air and conjures up the fireball just in front of him. For this one, as you see him coming down towards you, you just want to roll through the initial fireball slam and then wait about half a second and roll again. Don't instantly roll, otherwise the giant explosion will catch you. After that explosion, you can sometimes get a few more shots in with the poison arrows. So at this point, poison is applied and his health will be ticking down in phase 1. Next, we need to look for opportunities for us to put an attack in, and at first it might not seem like there's many opportunities, but there are a few. So let's go over those openings to attack now. The first opportunity to put in an attack is after his leaping fireball explosion. If you wanted to, you could roll close to him and then punish him after the explosion happens. I tend to use this chance to put in a serpent's arrow attack at the start of the fight, but you could use it for a physical attack if you want to. Another chance that we get to take an action is when he jumps up into the air and then thrusts his spear into the floor at the end of a combo. If you roll through that final spear plunge into the floor and place yourself close to Messmer, you can take an action there. One of the best times to put in some damage is after the Messmer's Fury combo. This attack looks a bit crazy, but if we analyze it, it's not too bad. There's 4 steps to this attack. First of all, he'll jump up in the air and then spin attack towards you. Try to roll through this initial attack the best that you can do. I tend to find that if he's in front of me and then I roll forwards, most of the time it rolls through this initial attack. Then he kind of makes his way behind you and does a multi-spear thrust. Once again with this one, just roll forwards through it and it should avoid the attack. Then there's a slight delay as he kind of hovers up in the air for a second. Then he thrusts his spear down into the floor. Roll through this as it connects with the floor. Then there's a slight delay again. The delay timing on this is very similar to the timing of the leaping fire explosion that he starts the fight with. This last attack in the combo will shoot fire up from the floor, and spears will also thrust up from the floor. What you want to do is roll forwards through this and place yourself next to Messmer. If you can place yourself close to him at this point, you'll get about 2 or 3 seconds of uptime, so this is a really good chance to put in some damage. It's also worth mentioning that for a lot of his attacks, I actually choose to roll forwards through them. I kind of roll forwards and a little bit leftish, not always directly forwards, and most of the time by rolling this way, it generally keeps me safe from a lot of his attacks. This is because if you roll backwards, some of his attacks are roll catch moves, especially the fire ones. If you roll backwards for the fire attacks, I tend to find that a lot of those will still get me, so that's why I roll forwards and leftish. There's another chance for us to take an action after a 2-hit combo. This 2-hit combo consists of a 360 spin and then a thrust forward. There's a pretty big delay on both of these attacks, especially the second attack where the spear kind of drags along the floor for a little bit before thrusting, so make sure to look out for this combo. If you can roll forwards and left-ish through that thrust, you'll get a second or 2 to put in some damage there. He's also got a simple attack where he just jumps up into the air and then throws a spear down into the floor. If you can roll through the spear throw and then place yourself next to Messmer, you'll get a chance to take an action here. He's got another combo which looks very similar to the Messmer's Fury combo at the start, but this one actually is a different combo. With this one, he does a spinning attack towards you, so try to roll through this initial attack the best that you can do. Then he jumps up into the air and then he thrusts the spear into the floor. Roll through that spear thrust and place yourself next to Messmer to get another chance to put an attack in. You can tell the difference between the Messmer's Fury combo and this other combo by the starting attack. The difference being is on Messmer's Fury combo, he kind of goes upwards into the air first, then towards you, and then with this other combo, he just kind of directly comes towards you straight away. He's also got a really nasty grab attack, and this attack has quite a large delay before he actually does the grab, so make sure to delay your roll quite a bit when you see this grab coming in. You'll know when the grab is coming for you because he kind of holds his hand up in the air for a little bit, and his hand is also on fire. Just be careful with this because sometimes he tries to combine his grab attack with his ranged Messmer's flame attack, which is where where he casts some fire up into the air above him and then it comes down towards you. This fire is designed to obscure your view, so sometimes you can't really see what Messmer's doing behind that flame, and sometimes you'll find that he's trying to get a sneaky grab attack in by hiding behind the cover of that flame, so just be extra careful when you see the Messmer's flame attack, otherwise you could find yourself in the embrace of Messmer's flame, and that is not what you want. This fight is a bit of a crazy one because he's got so many different attacks, and some of his attacks happen instantly, some of them you have to delay your roll a little bit, and then others you have to delay your roll a lot. As kind of a general rule of thumb, I usually delay my rolls a little bit for most of his attacks. However, you do still need to watch out for the really quick attacks and the massively delayed attacks. And to make this fight even more complicated, some of the attacks and combos that we've already mentioned can also be combined with other attacks and combos. For example, sometimes he might bolt the 2-hit delayed combo on the end of a normal combo. So just make sure to keep on your toes. Just as a side note here, what I'd recommend doing is if your health is half or less than half, when you have the chance to take an action, I would choose to drink a red flask as opposed to put in some damage, unless you've got him close to half health remaining and you can push him into phase 2, then in that case choose to attack, or if you can see that he's only got a tiny bit of health left, then push the attack and go for the win. But other than that, I'd choose to heal yourself. At half health, he's going to change into phase 2, and he seems to always open up phase 2 with an explosive snake attack. The snake makes its way up into the air and then comes on down, bites the floor and explodes. What I do here at the start of phase 2 is run directly forwards and then wait until I get past that circle on the floor. After that, I'll drink the flasks that I need to drink, then I'll drink the flask of wondrous physic as well. The crystals that I'm using in the flask will give me infinite FP and massive damage negation for a little while. After the explosion, you want to whip around real quick and lock onto Messmer. If you can get up close to him here, then you get quite a lot of time to put in some damage. For the most part in phase 2, a lot of his attacks are quite similar to phase 1, apart from now there's just loads of snakes everywhere. He does get access to a new physical attack in this phase, and we can take advantage of this one. It's the one where he kind of readies up for a little bit and then does a jumping, twisting thrust towards you. What you can do is roll backwards through the attack and try and place yourself next to Messmer at the end of his attack. If you can do that, then you'll get a chance to attack here. In terms of the snake attacks, just try and dodge through them the best that you can do. With some of the snake attacks, if you can roll through them and avoid the attack, then you can actually put some attacks into the snake's face at the end of the snake's combo. And there's sometimes a chance to attack when he's transitioning from being the snake back into Messmer. So make sure to give the snake a bop on the head if you just see it chilling on the floor for a second. If you're not too confident with the timing of the snake attacks, sometimes just blocking with a good shield can tank the hit, so it's worth giving a shield a try if the snake attacks are causing you some stress. Just keep in mind that if a snake comes at you from the sides, above or behind, then sometimes it might bypass the shield and get you. Also, if you see the purple stuff start to form underneath your feet, then get out of the way, as there's going to be a snake that pops up and tries to chomp you. He also now gets access to a move called Wrath of the Serpent, where loads of snakes will attack you over and over again. Just try to roll through these the best that you can do. Ideally have your health topped up because you might take a hit or two, and then at the end of all these snakes, he'll do the last 2 attacks from the Messmer's Fury combo, which is the one where he plunges the spear into the floor, and then the fire and the spears will burst up from the floor. Just use the same tactics that we mentioned earlier to counter this. Other than that though, in terms of opportunities for you to strike, phase 2 is quite similar to phase 1, so keep your eyes peeled for all of those opportunities that were mentioned earlier in the video. It is also worth mentioning that bleed does a lot of damage to Messmer, so you'll notice that when we're getting our bleed procs, it's doing a large chunk of damage. After you land the final strike, you can also switch over to the golden scarab talisman, which as long as you're quick enough doing this will get you an extra 20% runes, and this boss drops a huge amount of runes, so getting an extra 20% is massively useful. This is the gear, equipment and talismans that were used in this fight. Whilst we take a look at this, I just want to say it's massively important to be collecting the Erdtree fragments. You then want to be using the Erdtree fragments at a site of grace to increase your Erdtree blessing level. By increasing your blessing level, it increases the damage that you deal and it decreases the damage that you take. If you're using Spirit Ash summons, you also want to be leveling up your revered Spirit Ash blessing as well, as once again that will make your Spirit Ashes deal more damage and take less damage. So if you're massively stuck on a boss fight, I'd recommend leaving the boss fight for a while and then going to find some Erdtree fragments, then come back to the boss fight after you've leveled up your blessing levels a bit. These blessing levels only apply to your character in the DLC. Some more videos from me have just popped up on the screen. If you enjoyed this video, then it's likely you'll enjoy one of those as well. Other than that, thank you so much for watching and enjoy the rest of your day.